I'd like to introduce Ali, who's the Regional Sales Manager at Star Clippers UK, one of our incredible partner operators, which we work really closely with at Travel Counsellors. And Ali has a fabulous slideshow for us to whet our appetite for tall ships cruising. So have your drink ready, make sure you're comfortable and enjoy it. Over to you, Ali.
We work really closely with travel counsellors, so I don't know if any of you've sailed with us before or have seen some of our beautiful ships. As you can, I'll move that way, as you can see behind me. I'm just going to spend the next sort of half hour or so just giving you a bit more detail about us and what we're all about as a cruise line, and hopefully it may whet some of your appetites to try a sailing with us. So I am going to just share my screen, which hopefully will work okay. Lovely. Melissa, can you see that okay?
Yep.
Perfect. So hopefully everyone can see that. So I'm going to just start with a couple of minutes video. Unfortunately, the sound won't work for some reason on Zoom, but you'll at least get the gist of what the ships look like and what it looks like to actually sail on board with us. So these are two of our ships, Royal Clipper, the larger one, and Starflyer, the smaller one. So this was filmed, I think, last year, actually, or year before last, in the Caribbean. So that will give you a little taster just about what we sort of look like really as a cruise line, because we are very, very different to your average cruise ships. We have three of these beautiful sailing yachts in the fleet, Star Clipper, Starflyer and Royal Clipper. And they are absolutely as they look here and as they looked in the video, and they are beautiful fully rigged sailing yachts. The Star Clipper and Starflyer are two of our smaller yachts. They are sister ships, absolutely identical, and they carry just 166 guests. So whilst over the last few years the ships have got bigger and bigger and bigger, we are absolutely at the opposite end of the scale. I would say we are very much a boutique cruise line, so smaller ships with really big personalities. We do pack quite a lot on board, so they are quite a bit bigger when you're up close to them. The two smaller ships have got a couple of plunge pools up on the top deck. They have two bars, they have a piano lounge, they have a library, and we have 85 staterooms, and we have a guest to crew ratio of 2:1, so a really good guest to crew ratio. And all of the ships have one main dining room on them as well, so it just makes for a really nice atmosphere on board. Royal Clipper is our flagship, so she is a little bit bigger, she is quite grand inside. She has an extra mast, she's a 5-masted ship. She carries 227 guests. She has an extra plunge pool up on the top deck. She has an extra bar, she has a spa and a gym on board. She has a fabulous water sports platform, which I'll show you a little bit later. And she's just a little bit more grand inside. The two smaller yachts are sort of very laid back inside, whereas the decor is just a little bit more grand. And you'll see as the slides go on, because there's quite a few of the interior of Royal Clipper. So what makes us different? Well, we are obviously very different in terms of the way we look. Because we are so much smaller, we get into lots of ports of call that the other big ships just don't get into. When we are in a sort of dropped anchor in a larger island, we do try and stay away from where the other big guys are. So we would try and go into a different harbour. And as I say, lots of smaller ports of call. We don't have many sea days. And it is often like being on your own big super yacht. So if we're dropped anchor, I don't know, off the coast of St. Bart's or Monte Carlo or Saint-Tropez, we are often just dropped anchor with all the other big super yachts. So it's a very sort of exclusive feel, but without the exclusive price tag. So as you see, you know, we do offer a very authentic sailing experience. The sails are absolutely not just there for show. Whenever we leave a port of call, all of the sails go up. And then it would depend obviously on wind and weather. We get a lot of natural sail in the Caribbean and the Greek islands. And if there isn't enough wind power, then we would be under power assisted sail. But the sails, absolutely, they are up every single day. So just some pictures. This is our top deck on Royal Clipper. So as you can see, the couple of little plunge pools, and there's lots of seating areas, and there's lots of shade up on the top deck. Or if you want some sunshine, there's plenty of lounges. So even if we do have a sea day, there's always somewhere that you can go and sit quietly. And we are very much an outdoor ship, so it is all about being up on deck, being under those sails. You know, looking over the side, looking out at the scenery. So we do lend ourselves to, you know, to good weather and being out on deck. So as you can see from here, very traditional in terms of decor. So lots of polished brass, lots of teak. We are a fully working sailing yacht. So the crew, whenever we leave a port of call, the sails go up by hand. They will have you pulling on the ropes to hoist the sails up. You can climb the crow's nest. We have an open bridge policy, so apart from when we're on manoeuvres, you can get up to the bridge pretty much 24/7. You can get down to the engine rooms, so it's just a real personal experience on board, and there's always something going up on deck, whether it be the crew fixing the sails or whether it be a mast climbing day. If you don't want to do anything like that, then it's not a problem. You can just sit and chill up on deck, you know, just sipping a cocktail or a coffee and just completely relax. One of our fantastic things that we do each day is our sail away. We're very famous for our sail away. As I've mentioned, the sails all go up, and they go up to a fabulous piece of classical music by Vangelis called Conquest of Paradise. Everybody congregates up on deck. You just get a drink from the bar, and literally everyone's always watching from ashore as our sails go up, and it's a real film star moment every day whenever this happens, and it really does make the hairs on your arms stand on end watching all the sails unfold, and especially with the music, and it's just an incredible experience. And that happens every day, whether it's late afternoon, whether it's late in the evening. You know, that is quite spectacular, and everybody comes up on deck to watch. And as I say, you can literally, although the bridge isn't open when we're sailing out, you can stand right behind the bridge. You hear every command the captain makes. You see every move the ship makes, and it really does feel like you're sailing the ship out yourself. So again, very, very unique, and you can only do that on this kind of size of vessel. So all of our sailings, this is as it is currently. So all of our sailings are based on a full board basis. We have open dining. So you'd get breakfast and lunch as buffet, and then afternoon tea each day as buffet. Now, obviously, sadly, our sailings are suspended, like all of the other cruise lines, and we're not sure what that's going to look like when we are all allowed to sail again. It might be that the buffet has to be served by a member of staff, which absolutely we can accommodate. So we're just waiting for guidelines, to be honest, of what that onboard experience will look like. But I'm very confident that whatever needs to happen, we will be able to implement it quite easily. It'll be much easier to implement it on a ship that carries, you know, between 160 and 220 passengers, as opposed to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 guests. So we are hopeful that you know, that we will be back up and running as soon as we possibly can be. Every evening you would get a silver 6-course silver service a la carte evening meal. We don't force people to prepay their gratuities. They are discretionary, and we recommend €8. I think on board is priced in euros, whether you're in the Caribbean, the Med, or the Far East. We don't do any drinks packages on board, but the drinks are very, very reasonable. So you would be looking at a glass of wine or a glass of Prosecco for around €3.50. Cocktail of the day around €6. Bottles of house wine start at €16, and there's no tax or service charge on top of that. So it is very, very reasonable in terms of the drinks on board. And we have a really extensive wine list. We have complimentary tea and coffee and drinking water machine. So there is that available free of charge. We also have a full range of excursions, so half day, full day excursions, and they're just bookable when you get on board. So you just pop your name in a book, or you can just get off and do your own thing. It's very, very relaxing sailing with us. You can do absolutely, you know, if you want to get off and do your own thing, if you want to go on an organised tour, you can do. If you want to arrange your own organised tour, if you want to just stay on board and be waited on hand and foot, you know, anything goes when you're sailing with us. This is absolutely the kind of standard of food that you would get, so it is a very high standard. And this photo in the middle here is our beach barbecue, which we have each week if we're in one of our long haul destinations. It's great fun. The staff bring all of the food out onto the beach, they set the bar up, and it's just a great afternoon. Everyone just kicks back on the beach and really enjoys themselves. So this is the dining room on Royal Clipper. As I've mentioned, at the moment we have open dining. Now again, whether that may have to change going forward in terms of how many people were allowed in the dining room at one time, we honestly don't know at this stage. But you can see here Royal is, she does look quite grand. We have a captain's night once a week, but I think one of the lovely things about sailing with Star Clippers is because our vessels are so much smaller, and our staff have sailed with us for years and years and years and years. The crew get to know the guests. The captain and the senior officers dine in the same restaurant, and you know, they'll wander around the ship, they'll be in the bar area. So you know, you will get to meet the captain and you will get to know them, because I've certainly been on some sailings where I've never even seen the captain in a week, but that is very different sailing with us. This is the Atrium on Royal Clipper, so as you can see, quite grand. The other two smaller yachts don't have this, they just have a sort of little staircase down into the dining room, so they are less grand in terms of decor, but just as high a standard in terms of service and quality on board. They just look a little bit different. And then probably the most important place on the ship is our tropical bar, and each ship has a tropical bar, and this is where our evening entertainment takes place. So this is the real hub of the ship, and so this is where people congregate before dinner for a pre-dinner drink or after dinner. And then we have light-hearted entertainment, so it's quite similar to river cruising. If any of you have river cruised before, If we're in the Caribbean, we'll bring a steel band on one night. We have a quiz night once a week. We have an entertainment person on board that will play the piano, the guitar, the keyboard. There's various things go on in the evenings, and if you don't want to be part of that, you've got a lovely indoor bar area, or you've got the whole of the upper deck of the ship. There is nothing nicer than grabbing a coffee after dinner, just making your way up onto the top deck, finding somewhere to sit, and it's just so relaxing. All you can hear is the twinkling of the sails flapping, and the cadets are up there stargazing at night, so you can go up and see the various different stars. And yeah, so in the evening you can kind of be as lively or as relaxed as you want to be, but this is sort of the real hub of the ship where everyone heads to. So all of our water sports are complimentary, with the exception of scuba diving. So we do have a dive master on our Asian itineraries. This is the water sports platform on the back of Royal Clipper. So if we're dropped anchor in the Caribbean or the Med, you can literally just go swimming off the back of the ship. And we have paddle boards, snorkeling equipment, kayaks, water skiing. So there's a whole range of different water sports on offer, and they're completely free of charge for our guests to use. And then just moving on to the cabins. So 80% of our cabins would look like this. This is a standard outside cabin. They are a little bit smaller than your average cruise ship, because obviously we are very much smaller. So they're all beautifully decorated inside, keeping with the kind of yacht theme. They've all got TV, DVD players, drawer space, vanity area, beautiful marble ensuite bathrooms, wardrobe space, and they've all got hollow beds, so you can just hide your suitcases and your shoes out of the way. And because our dress code is, we call it relaxed casual, we don't have any formal nights on board. So you won't need your dinner suits, and you won't need your high heels and your evening dresses. So you do tend to take a little bit less when you're sailing with us. So 80% of the outside, this would be a standard outside cabin. We do go up in categories. This is a category 1 cabin, which has picture window. They open out onto the deck. They have a whirlpool bath in them, a little bit more plush and larger. And then on Royal Clipper, these are our deluxe suites, so they have a small balcony area. I do always say to clients, though, please really don't be hung up if you can't get a balcony cabin, because you spend no time in your cabin. With us, it's all about being up on deck under those sails. So you really do spend very, very little time in your cabin, but they are beautifully decorated and really well appointed. So looking at the destinations that we go to, so we operate all year round. We tend to be in the right place at the right time, destination wise. So I'm going to start off with Asia. So one of our smaller yachts, Star Clipper, she currently sails all around Asia, or in a normal year she would sail all around Asia. Sadly, we are suspended in Asia up until the end of August. So we hope to be running this Asia programme from September, and that will run through to the end of March 2023. And then Star Clipper will leave Asia. So if any of you might be interested in a sailing around Thailand or Borneo, then this winter is the winter to do it. So we have lots of different sailings available, and these are our northern and southern Thailand sailings. So we sail in and out of Phuket. We do all the beautiful west coast of Phuket, sailing down as far as Langkawi and Penang in Malaysia. Now, these are very, very beachy itineraries. The scenery is absolutely as it looks here. We are literally dropped anchor into a beautiful little desert island each day. So the likes of Koh Rok Nok, Koh Butang, Koh Kraden. And these areas are quite difficult to get to unless you're backpacking. You know, they involve ferry journeys from Phuket. You can't fly into them. So it's very much off the beaten track, and some absolutely stunning islands. Not a great deal to do excursion wise, just a couple of days of excursions. But if you like beaches, if you like snorkeling, if you like water sports, then these are absolutely stunning sailings. And of course, they can be combined with a much bigger itinerary. So you could go and stay a few nights in Bangkok, stay a few nights in Phuket, or go to Elephant Hills, then do the sailing and fly home. So they can be dropped into a much bigger itinerary. We also sail as far as come in and out of Singapore as well. So we do Phuket to Singapore, or Singapore to Phuket. And again, these 7-night sailings, so they can be dropped into a bigger trip. In October, sail duration sailings, 10 and 11 nights. Again, sailing around all the beautiful national parks, and we do an overnight off the coast of Cambodia as well. And so there is an excursion that will fly you up to Angkor Wat that we offer. But again, if you love beautiful scenery and snorkeling, then these really are stunning sailings. And then we also, in September, our sailings go from Singapore up to Kota Kinabalu. Now, these sailings are a little bit different, whereas the previous Asia sailings I've talked about are very, very picturesque, real powdery white sands each day. These are very much gateway ports of call. So what we would suggest with our Borneo sailings is you really need to do a sort of full excursion package. So there are some fabulous excursions on offer. Borneo is amazing for wildlife, for flora and fauna, and so some absolutely stunning excursions that you can do. You can also then at the end fly up to Sepilok and go and see the orangutans up in Sepilok. So again, you can make it a slightly larger trip. So as I say, Star Clipper will sadly leave Asia at the end of March next year. Sorry, not next year, 2020. She will make, end of next year, so that is 2022. So she will then make her way back to the Med, and she will sail in the Med in summer 2022. So for the first time in many years, we'll have 3 ships in the Med next summer. So we sail all over the Med. So we have Star Flyer, again, one of the smaller ships. She covers all of the Greek islands. So she sails in and out of Athens. So as well as doing a lot of the larger islands like Santorini and Rhodes, we also cover off a lot of the smaller islands like Skiathos and Skopelos and Poros. And you get some great natural sail in the Greek islands. We then have Royal Clipper. She covers a lot of our Venice sailings in and out of sort of our Adriatic sailings in and out of Venice. So we sail down Croatia, Montenegro, and then also out of Rome as well, doing the beautiful Amalfi coastline. And as you'll see here on the map here, we tend to hug the shore on these sailings, so you get all the beautiful scenery. You know, if we leave somewhere in the late afternoon, you get to see all the beautiful coastline, and you know you're not sailing too far out of the coastline. So Venice is by far our most popular sailing, and believe it or not, we've already got some summer 22 sailings already fully booked. And then Star Clipper, as I said, she will return to the Med. So she will do a lot of the Amalfi coastline in and out of Rome. We also sail in and out of Cannes as well, so doing a lot of the Western Med, so the likes of Lerici, Bonifacio, Portoferrario, Saint-Tropez, Monte Carlo. So we've got a huge programme down in the Med each summer. And then 2 of our new sailings for 5 years ago, and they were really popular. I think probably two of the most iconic places in the Med to sail in and out of are Venice and Istanbul as well. Istanbul is a beautiful port of call to sail in and out of, and there's nothing more picturesque than sailing in and out on a tall ship. It really is very spectacular. So these sailings are very, very popular, and are new for summer 22, and these are on Star Clipper. So then moving back to winter again, so the two ships that are in the Med, well, there'll be 3 ships next summer, so they will then all do ocean crossings over to the Caribbean. That is normally about November time, and they head over to Barbados and St. Martin. So Royal Clipper, she home ports in Barbados, and so she sails all around the beautiful just island hopping in the Caribbean. So we sail in, as I say, in and out of Barbados. Very easy to cruise. We can do back-to-back cruising. So we offer the Windward Islands, the Grenadine Islands, and that's all on Royal Clipper, so the slightly larger ship. And then in and out of St. Martin, we have these absolutely stunning sailings, and this is where you're literally just dropped anchor with all the other big super yachts. So we sail into the likes of Anguilla, Jos van Dyke, St. Bart's, so some real stunning islands. And you know, and if you compare sort of the price of sailing with us around these beautiful islands versus a land-based holiday, then it is incredibly good value for money. So on all of our sailings, we tend to sail in the evenings. So we tend to have some days full days in port, other days we might be somewhere in the morning, come back on board at lunchtime, and then head off somewhere in the afternoon. So the Med has got obviously a wide range of excursions. The Caribbean has a wide range of excursions days as well. We do have some beach days, but generally there is something to do each day in the Caribbean, and perfect, as I've already mentioned, for cruise and stay and stay and cruise. And then literally hot off the press, we will actually be sailing all around Costa Rica in winter 22-23. We did used to sail around Costa Rica about 10 years ago, and we are heading back there for the first time since then. So it's very, very exciting. And itinerary wise, we will sail over from Las Palmas to Barbados in November, and then Panama Canal sailing, and then we'll start 7-night rotational sailings out of Panama. Sorry, 7-night rotational sailings out of so Costa Rica and Nicaragua, and Costa Rica and Panama, and we will be there right through from the December through to the end of March. So absolutely fabulous destination, very, very rich in terms of excursions. So you know, Costa Rica, I think certainly since we were last there 10 years ago, has grown in popularity. Absolutely fabulous for flora and fauna and for wildlife. So again, this is another sailing where we would really recommend that guests take the excursion and, you know, do the excursions each day that are organised, of which there will be lots nature wise. There'll be zip lining, there'll be all sorts to do on the Costa Rica itineraries. So that's due to go on sale this week. So if any of you are interested, please let Melissa know, and we can get some more detail over to you on those. And then if the slides will work, come on, no, it's gone too far. Come on back. Sorry, should have gone to that one. Then we offer some real lovely bucket list adventures, and so you can combine our beautiful Venice sailings with the Orient Express, and we have a little mini brochure that covers some of these lovely itineraries. We can also sell the Eastern and Oriental Express as well, from Singapore and Bangkok. Panama Canal I've already mentioned, so we sell through the Panama Canal on all 3 ships. And we're also in Monte Carlo as well for the Grand Prix. So it helps because we're a family-run business, and our owners actually live down in Monte Carlo. So we get into Monte Carlo each year for the Grand Prix trials, and then we're down there every 3 years for the historic Grand Prix as well. So that's just some of our sort of ideas. And then there's just a nice slide with Starflyer and Star Clipper, the 2 sister ships sailing together. And then who do we attract on board? So we might not necessarily be attractive to your average cruise client who wants the casinos and the shopping malls and the 24/7 entertainment, but we are a fabulous product. It's predominantly couples and solo travellers that we get on board. We say our average age is between 55 and 65. We do get all ages on board. We don't get many kids on board because we don't have the the free Wi-Fi and the internet cafes and the entertainment for them. And you have to be able-bodied to sail with us. So you have to be able to get on and off a tender. You have to be able to get up and down the stairs. So that does tend to keep the age down a little bit. Anybody looking to do something different, as I say, we have a big crossover with river cruising because of the size of the ships. Anybody celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, it's on a lot of people's bucket list to sail on a tall ship. So we get all sorts of different clients on board, and we get over 60% repeat business. So it's very friendly on board. It's a lovely atmosphere because of the size. People do tend to make friends on board, and it's a completely tailored product. So as I've already mentioned, you can combine it with a much bigger trip. And with us, it's much better to book early, and we never reduce our prices the nearer to departure. So a lot of our sailings tend to sail full. So you are much better to book early. You get early booking discounts, and you get a wider choice of cabins. So never leave it till the last minute with us, because you will be disappointed in not getting the cabin that you want. So that kind of is us in a nutshell, really. We are on sale up to the end of March 2023. We don't have any paper brochures, but we have 3 e-brochures that we can send to you if any of you would like to have a look at some of the sailings in more detail. We are currently suspended in the Med on Royal Clipper till the end of April, and start May. We are just waiting with bated breath, like everyone is, as to see when we can start sailing again, what protocols we will need to have on board. And I think the great thing about cruise ships are, the sanitization is already incredibly high, on cruise ships. And, as I've already said, we are very much smaller. So, if we need to implement a one-way system, we can do that quite easily. We can move from buffet to a served buffet quite easily. And so just watch this space, really. And obviously once we know what we need to do to get back sailing, then we will do. So that just leaves me to say thank you very much for joining us this evening. This is a little clip of Royal Clipper sailing in and out of Venice, and we are one of the few cruise lines that can still get in and out of Venice, a very iconic port, and a beautiful port of call to sail in and out of.